Yeah.
Definitely a 10. Perfect. And I don't want to let that anger go because if I do,
Oh, so many thoughts come up, like they deserve me to be angry. I should be angry. Um, People who saw what they did will find me crazy for forgiving them.
okay, so who they were as parents, you disapprove of who they were as parents, yes? The way they behaved.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I told you that you can continue to disapprove of who they were as parents while at the
Hmm.
same time no longer needing to carry anger about it? How would you feel about that? All right, welcome to this episode of Change Your Reality. I'm your host, Nick Breau, and today we are doing a segment called the 30-Minute Breakthrough. This is where we invite one of our audience members in to see how big of a shift they can make in just 30 minutes. Today's guest is Tessey in the Netherlands. How you doing, Tessey?
I am doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We're going to play and have some fun.
Yes, please do.
Okay, because breakthroughs are always fun, right?
In the end, they are.
So share a little bit about your background. So how long have you been studying law of attraction or personal development for?
I think I've been doing this for 3 to 4 years. And yeah, in the beginning, it was all a lot of fun. And then I got into the mode of, okay, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this to get that and to go there. And now I want to go back to the fun part of the manifesting and the breakthroughs. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
That's
So I hope this will be the
yeah,
next step into the greatness.
and I like how you explain that because I think a lot of people, once they start to realize the real potential and what's possible, um, not that getting too serious about it isn't quite the right word, but they maybe try to effort their way using law of attraction, and we all know that um, effort isn't necessarily the key to results. So what are we going to work?
Right.
What are we going to work on today? What would you like? What's the topic of breakthrough that you're seeking?
Well, there's this underlying belief I have that I'm a failure and I don't deserve the success.
Okay, so there's an underlying belief that you're a failure and you don't deserve success. So we're going to work through that. That sounds like something pretty easy to kick in the butt. So, are you familiar with belief tree process, EFT, all these beautiful tools that I use?
I am with the belief tree. With the tapping, not so much. I did a few videos of you that I joined you guys, but I'm not really familiar with the tapping.
That's
No.
okay. Well, I mean, the belief tree evolved from tapping, so we'll just start with the belief tree, and if we need to resort to a little bit of tapping, we'll do that. Um, so let's just dive into this feeling that I'm a failure. So,
Hmm.
0 to 10, how strong is that feeling?
Well, I feel it everywhere, so let's make it a 9.5.
Okay, so if you really tune into it, you say it's like a 9.5.
Hmm.
Can you tell where that feeling sits in your body?
In my lower tummy,
Okay, in
and
your
then creeps
stomach.
all over.
Okay, perfect. And do you feel like that feeling's been around kind of as long as you can remember?
Yeah, I am afraid so.
Okay. And without getting in your head about it, without analyzing it, from that grounded place, if I say the following words, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say, I feel like I'm a failure because?
Well, not even my mom and dad wanted to raise me, so.
Okay, so um, I feel like I'm a failure because my parents didn't want to raise me.
Hmm.
Okay. So is it possible that there's lots of other people on this planet whose parents didn't want to raise them?
Yes.
Perfect. And are all of those people automatically failures as well?
No.
Okay. Are any of them automatically failures because their parents didn't want to raise them?
No.
Okay. So why does that make you a failure?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I'm not
Is it
them.
is it possible that that belief that I'm a failure because my parents realized that they didn't want to raise me doesn't make sense?
Maybe.
Okay. So did they have 10 kids? Huh,
No. I was the only one.
you were the only one. Okay. So is it possible that it didn't matter who they had as a child? They still would have had the same response of, I don't want to raise a kid.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. So is it possible that their response and their behavior has absolutely nothing to do with who you are?
I guess so. I can feel it in my throat now. It's like,
Good. So you feel the energy moving now, right?
yeah.
Okay. So can you acknowledge that it's not about you, right? It was their own limitations, their own beliefs, their own perspectives that got in the way of them allowing themselves to raise you.
I would like that to be a yes, but now I feel like anger in my body. Like,
Perfect. Okay. So before we go over to the anger, that
mm-hmm.
feeling that I'm a failure because my parents didn't want to raise me. Can you see the invalidity, how that statement doesn't make sense, that it's not, was never about you, but about them?
My head says yes, but my heart says, mm-mm.
Okay. And that I'm a failure feeling, does it still feel like it's a 9.5? Or has it changed a little bit?
It changed it. I would say like a 7.5, an 8.
Perfect. So it's gone down a little bit. Okay. That,
Mm-hmm.
that feeling of anger, 0 to 10, how strong would you say that feeling is?
Oh, that's strong. That's like almost like a 10.
Let's go right to a 10 then. And that feeling
Yeah.
of angry, that anger feeling, I feel that way because
It's not fair. Why take a child if you don't want to raise it?
you feel angry because they should have known better. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you agree that everybody is doing the best that they know how at their level of consciousness? So, everybody inside of them has an inner being. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
And that inner
Yes.
being is connected to source.
Mm-hmm.
And that inner being is connected to source, which is unconditionally loving and infinitely intelligent. So
Yes.
unconditional love is deeply rooted within all of us. Would you agree with that?
I do hope so, yeah.
It's there. The challenge is most people are pinching it off, right? Most people are
Mm.
practicing resistance, doing things that pinch off that unconditional love, which leads to behavior that isn't rooted in unconditional love, right?
Mm.
So,
Okay.
from that vantage point, if nobody had any resistance, if nobody was trained into hate or anger or any of these emotions that lead to negative behaviors, if all of those things
Mm-hmm.
were gone, everybody would be acting out of unconditional love in theory, correct?
True. Yes.
Good,
I agree.
good. So deep down, people are good people. Everybody is a good person. It's just the programming that they take up, typically in childhood, gets in the way of that behavior and that being good. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody exhibits behavior that they should have known better. The only reason that they don't know better is they've never had anybody in their life to teach them better,
Mm-hmm.
or they're practicing fears or negative emotions that doesn't allow them to behave better. And that's never an excuse for somebody else's behavior, but it's a way to hopefully allow some level of compassion in for those people who behave in ways that we don't necessarily approve with. Does that make sense?
Yes. But
Okay.
now the anger comes back up because now my head goes like, so I just need to forgive and forget.
Well, here's the thing. So let's talk about this feeling of anger. This feeling of anger, their behavior and what they did was not justified. I agree with that. Anybody who chooses to become a parent should do so from the vantage point of wanting to be a parent, right? And I think everybody would
Mm-hmm.
probably agree with that. So your anger is justified. It's okay to be angry if you want. But I know that you holding on to this anger doesn't serve you. I know that you
No.
holding on to this anger only limits your vibration. It limits the way you feel. It limits your ability to achieve high states of alignment. I know that your inner being would want you to transcend that anger and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to transcend that anger and let it go because I know you'll enjoy your reality more without it. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Good. Now, can you feel the feeling of that angry feeling? I don't want to let it go.
Yes, I can.
Good. 0 to 10, how strong is that feeling of I don't want to let that anger go?
Very strong.
Yeah.
Definitely a 10. Yeah.
Definitely a 10. Perfect. And I don't want to let that anger go because if I do,
Oh, so many thoughts come up like they deserve me to be angry. I should be angry. Um, People who saw what they did will find me crazy for forgiving them.
okay, so who they were as parents, you disapprove of who they were as parents, yes? The way they behaved.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I told you that you can continue to disapprove of who they were as parents while at the
Mm-hmm.
same time no longer needing to carry anger about it? How would you feel about that?
That would be nice.
Perfect. So that's
That would be really nice.
that's a nice little compromise, isn't it? Knowing
That
that
is a compromise.
knowing that you can still
It feels
disapprove.
more easy.
Do you feel the lightness in that?
Yes, I do.
Because like, you know how somebody gets obsessed with something and like at some point like you just got to let it go and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the same thing here, right? Allow
Mm.
yourself to disapprove of it. Say, you know what? I was born into this physical reality and I got a shitty deal. But that shitty deal might have be what led to you being a strong person. Like I have no doubt that there's some positive aspects that you carry that are rooted in
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you got a shitty deal when it came to the lottery of parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, if you go back into spiritual concepts, people would say we choose our parents in the same way they choose us, you know, blah, blah, blah. But right now, my goal here is to help you let go of that anger. Because my guess is you've been carrying that for a really long time. It's probably weighs really heavy on your shoulders. And I know you're going to feel so much better without it. So
Yeah, that would be nice.
good,
Scary, but nice.
good. So that feeling that I don't want to let it go, knowing you can continue to disapprove, but release the anger, are you now willing to let go of the anger?
It feels a bit scary, but very welcome.
Good. And that fear that it's not safe to let it go, 0 to 10, how strong is it?
An 8.
8. And it's not safe to let that anger go because if I do,
I might be a completely different person.
ooh, you might be a completely different person. And I'll correct you on that. You will absolutely be a different person. Now, this version of you without anger, do you think your vibration would be higher or lower without anger?
Higher.
Higher.
Definitely
And
higher.
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
A good thing.
Good. So, this version of you that you have the opportunity to become right now, who has a higher vibration, who's not carrying anger, wouldn't it be exciting to see what reality is like as that version of you?
Yes, but I might be losing a lot of things as well.
Okay. So, losing things. So, the only things you would lose are the things that are a vibrational match to the anger.
Hmm.
Do you see how that
Okay.
works?
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So, if you're letting, what's the opposite of anger? Relief.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you step out of anger, you'll be stepping into relief. So, your physical
Hmm.
reality will readjust to one that has less aspects and components and experiences relating to anger and more
Mm.
relating to relief.
That would be nice.
Does that sound like an improvement?
That sounds like a very nice improvement.
Good. So I might be a completely different person. That fear of stepping into a reality without anger, does that still feel like it's not safe?
No, it feels less scary.
Good. And do you think other people have released anger before?
Yeah, I think so.
And do you think those other people who've released anger that it made their reality worse by not being angry anymore?
No.
Likely not, right?
No, I don't. No.
Awesome. So how does it feel to let that anger go now?
A 6?
6. Okay, so it still feels, there's still a feeling that you don't want to let it go. So that 6 feeling, I don't want to let it go because if I do,
It's, it's unknown and I don't know what to do when I'm there, and here I know what to do. Oh.
so you came on this episode because you want to experience a breakthrough, right?
Yes.
You want to experience a different
Which
reality.
I'm, yes.
Yes. So,
Yes. I'm regretting it a little bit at the moment.
okay. So, what's the underlying fears? It's not safe to change. Is that how it feels?
Yeah. Why change? Because it's not that bad where I am right now.
Okay. So, why change? Because it's not that bad where I am right now. So, would you rather live a life where you're defaulting to not that bad? Or would you rather live a life where you're tuning into a little bit closer to the side of incredible? Because I know that's available to everyone.
Hmm. No, I would love to go there, but I think it's like out of my league to go there.
And when you say it's out of your league, what do you mean?
I wouldn't be able to get there.
Okay. So it's not available to you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And 0 to 10, how strong is that feeling that it's not available to you?
A 7.
Okay. And I feel that way because,
I feel that way because it's been like that always.
okay, so you,
That was never,
you feel like that because you've never achieved it.
yeah.
And just because you've never achieved it, does that automatically mean it's not there?
Well, I've been running this world for 34 years now, so
That's
it's been a long time.
so do we have like an expiry limit, like a time limit on manifestation?
No, we don't.
Okay,
We don't.
perfect. So I would argue that this reality has always been available to you. Is that possible? It has
Hmm.
been.
Yes,
Okay. And is it possible that you've been practicing this anger for a really long time?
that's definitely true. Yeah.
Is it possible that this vibration of anger is the wall, is the barrier between you and this amazing reality?
I'm afraid that is true. Yes,
Then wouldn't it feel exciting to take that wall down to see what it looks like? I mean, you can always put the anger back in if you want it to.
that's
You
also
could always
true.
go back to being angry. If reality gets too good
True.
and you're enjoying too much of your reality and it feels too incredible, you can go back to being angry.
True.
So now
That's true.
how did it feel to let that go?
Kind of nice.
Good. What if I were to convince you to let it go just for 3 weeks?
I can give that a try.
Good. Can we do a little bit of tapping to really let that anger out?
Okay.
All you have to do is tap where I tap and just repeat after me.
Hmm.
Easy enough?
All right.
Good. So that
Easy.
feeling of anger, is it still a 10?
A four-ish?
Okay, it's a 4. So we've dropped it quite a bit already. We're down to a 4. Okay. Now, do you feel any different? Having less anger?
Well, I still feel it in my throat and in my belly,
Okay. But do you
but
feel
not
like,
like it's connected like a sword.
does reality feel like it's more dangerous right now that you stepped out of that anger by like 6 points?
No,
No? Good. Okay, so going from a 10 to a 4 wasn't so bad, was it?
I guess not.
Good, other than having to deal with me.
Huh?
So going from a 4 down to a 0, is it possible that that won't be so bad either?
I hope so.
Okay, let's tap and see
Now
what
it's still
happens with it.
scary, but it's a little bit more exciting, scary.
Good. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the energy of excitement and the energy of anxiety is actually the same energy. We're just filtering it
Mhm.
differently through our belief system. So when that energy
Okay.
comes through and we give a positive spin to it, it turns into excitement. When that energy comes through and we give a negative spin to it, it turns into fear or anxiety, right?
Mhm.
All right, let's tap on that anger a little bit. Let's see how much lower we can get it. So just tap right, tap,
Yeah,
nice gentle tap, and just repeat after me. So I've got that angry feeling.
I've got that angry feeling.
Started off as a 10.
Started off as a 10.
It's down to a 4,
It's down to a 4.
and I still feel it in my throat.
I still feel it in my throat.
It's an angry feeling
It's an angry feeling.
that I've been holding on to for a long time.
I've been holding on to for a long time.
Kind of made it my friend.
Kind of made it my friend.
Carried it around with me.
Carried it around with me.
And even though I have the right to be angry,
Even though I have the right to be angry,
I can hold on to it for as long as I want.
I can hold on to it for as long as I want.
It doesn't serve me.
Doesn't serve me.
just weighs me down,
just weighs me down,
holds me back,
holds me back,
and Nick wants me to let that go.
and Nick wants to let
My
that go.
inner being wants me to let that go
My inner being wants me to let that go.
because I'll feel so much better without it.
I feel so much better without it.
Nick knows it.
Nick knows it.
My inner being knows it.
My inner being knows it.
I must be so tired from carrying that around for so long.
I must be so tired for carrying that around.
And it's finally time to let it go.
It's time to let it go.
Because I can still disapprove of what happened,
I can still disapprove of what happened,
but I don't have to be angry anymore.
but I don't have to be angry anymore.
I don't have to carry that energy around with me anymore.
I don't have to carry that energy around me anymore.
You're doing so good. Keep going. That angry feeling,
That angry feeling,
it's finally time to let that go.
it's time to let that go.
It's time to let that go.
It's time to let it go.
And be more of who I really am
And be more of who I really am,
so I can live more of the life that I really want.
so I can live more of the life I really want.
It's time to let that angry feeling go.
Time to let that angry feeling go.
That angry feeling in my throat.
That angry feeling.
Awesome. You're doing so good. Keep tapping. Take a nice deep breath. Good. Now that angry feeling, is it still a 4 or has it shifted a little bit?
It shifted.
Good. What number would you give it now?
A 2?
Awesome. You're doing so good. Is there anything else that's surfacing?
A bit of sadness.
Good. And that's normal. Typically, um, anger and sadness are kind of, from a belief tree standpoint, are kind of layered together. And that sadness, 0 to 10, how strong is that sad feeling?
A 6.
6. Good. I've got that sad feeling.
I've got that sad feeling.
That feeling in my
Heart.
that feeling in my heart.
That feeling in my heart.
That sad feeling in my heart.
That feeling in my heart.
I feel that way because
I feel that way because I don't have to hold on to it anymore.
I feel sad because I don't have to hang on to it anymore.
I'm sad because I don't have to handle it anymore.
Maybe it's because I feel like I'm letting go of an old friend.
Maybe it's because I'm letting go of an old friend.
Something that I feel has been part of me for a long time.
Been part of me of a really long time.
And that makes me sad.
That makes me sad.
But my inner being doesn't want me to be sad.
No, my inner being does not want me to be sad.
It wants me to celebrate.
It wants me to celebrate.
Because I'm letting go of something that's held me back for a long time.
It won't be back for a long time.
I'm letting go of something that's held me back for a long time.
I'm letting go of something that held me back for a long time.
So maybe it's time to celebrate.
Maybe it's time to celebrate.
I came here for a big breakthrough.
I came here for a big breakthrough.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I'm being really successful right now.
I'm feeling really successful right now.
And maybe I can feel good about that.
Maybe I can feel good about that.
So maybe I don't need to feel sad.
Maybe I don't need to feel sad.
Maybe I can give myself permission to let that go.
Maybe I can let myself permission to let that go.
Because I'm doing some really great work right now.
I'm doing some really great work right now.
I'm letting go of some really old stuff.
Letting go of some really old stuff.
And that's going to create some awesome changes in my life.
And that's going to create some awesome changes in my life.
Nick's proud of me.
Nick's proud of me.
My inner being is proud of me.
My My inner being is proud of me.
So maybe I can feel amazing right now.
So I feel amazing right
Good. Take a deep breath. You're doing so good. So that sad feeling, does it feel like that's shifted now?
now. Sorry?
That sad feeling, does it feel like it's shifted right now?
Yes. Yes,
Good.
it did.
Good. And do you feel a little bit lighter?
I do.
Good.
Yeah,
And
I
what's
do.
and what's coming to mind now?
Nothing actually.
Good. Surprising?
Yes.
Good. So when we kicked off this call, you said you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
work through this feeling of I'm a failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I checked with you, that feeling of I'm a failure was down to a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you wanted a breakthrough. I brought you on the show. You just cleared some really old, deep stuff that typically takes like 2 or 3 sessions for somebody to clear. You just did it in like under 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that sound like somebody who's a failure to you?
No, no, it doesn't.
Good. So, this belief, I'm a failure, is it possible that that belief is completely false?
I guess so.
Good. So, that feeling that we last saw as a 7.5, what number would you give it now?
A one?
Perfect. That's a pretty good shift. And that last
I
little
can do
piece,
this. I can do anything else.
so that last little piece of I'm a failure, I still
Mm-hmm.
feel that way because,
Because now I had help and I don't know if I can do it alone.
okay, who says you need to do it alone? Do you think I got to where I am by doing things alone?
No.
I've got like 200, over 200 people who've been through my facilitator training. They're all doing amazing work in the world. Do you think that they got there alone?
No.
Good. So, would you agree that having Source create cooperative components that align us with other people who help us with what we need when we need it is not a sign of failure?
Oh, because you're never alone. Even when you're alone, you're not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So, that I'm a failure feeling, is it still a one?
Um. No.
Good. So, that feels
I'm
gone,
not sure if it's completely gone though.
but you can't feel it anymore, right?
No. No, I can't.
Is your mind in a little bit of disbelief right now?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. So sometimes when we shift things really fast, um, our mind kind of gets confused. Lately, I've been creating this new process called subconscious alchemy, and what we do, it's kind of like a hypnosis process where we turn off the inner critic, the critical factor, the
Mm-hmm.
ego mind, and then we do some subconscious shifting and we implant some new stuff. And then when they come out of that state of trance, the subconscious mind sometimes
Mm-hmm.
feels confused because it feels the person feels confident or good enough or whatever the emotion is. And the conscious mind can't understand why because it's such an unfamiliar place. It can't comprehend on how it got there, right? So for you, you've
Yes.
probably been practicing these things for so long. Now that you've stepped out of them, your mind is having a bit of a hard time. Hard time's a strong word. Is a bit confused, looking to or having difficulty adjusting to the fact that that's not there anymore, which is an amazing sign. It means you
Mm.
really shifted this stuff.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Awesome. So do you
Confusion is cool this time.
do you feel lighter than when we started?
Yes, yes, I do.
Awesome. Good. Any questions or comments before we wrap up?
Um, no, I don't think so. My mind is a bit of a mess right now, but
When you say a mess,
there's a small voice as well that says it's okay, it's
and when
okay,
you say
it's
my
fine.
mind is so when you say my mind is a bit of a mess right now, what do you mean exactly? Can you describe how you're feeling?
It's like it's like there's a the old puzzle was thrown away. There's a new puzzle, and it doesn't understand why the pieces don't fit.
Okay. And
I think that's the best description I can give you.
is this is this anchored in with like a feeling of relief? Like, do you feel lighter and relieved? So I want to make sure we close out
Yes,
with you feeling better than when we started, right? So what's going on again is your mind feels confused because for the first time and as long as you can remember, you're not feeling the feeling of anger or failure. So your mind is like kind of in this state of shock is not the right word. It's too strong of a word, but it's in that state of confusion. So I would say spend the rest of the day integrating, spend the rest of the
hmm
day kind of doing what feels good, let it settle. Um, but this was really great. I think this was an amazingly good session for you.
All right, will do. Thank you
Awesome.
so much. Okay, this was
Yeah, my pleasure. And send me an
awesome.
update.
Yeah,
Send me an update in a couple of days. Let me know how you're feeling.
I will. I will. Thank you so much.
Great. So that concludes today's episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or to check out some of our coaching offers or membership programs, you can find all the details on the website at nickbreau.com. Bye for now. That's it for today's episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, to join our membership community, or to be trained as a facilitator, you can find all the details on the website at nickbreau.com.